In segment number 2, we're working on split infield drills, position play drills for the infielders. This is where they're actually set up at their positions and they're working all types of balls that will come to them. They work on proper fielding mechanics, proper footwork, and proper throw. The nice thing about this segment is that you can accomplish a lot of ground balls in a short period of time. And remember, coaches, if you're dealing with the developing players, the younger players, you may look at this segment and say, whoa, we can't have this many balls going on at the infield at once. That's okay. Go ahead and do them in sequence. First have ground balls to the left side of the infield, stop, then do ground balls to the right side of the infield. You can adjust it to your level of talent and still have great productivity in your practice environment. Let's go ahead and take a look at split infield drills, position play drills for the infield. The split infield series of drills incorporates throwing across the infield. The fungo hitter on the first base side is hitting ground balls to the third baseman, who throws to first base. At the same time, the coach on the third base side or the fungo hitter on the third base side is hitting to second base, who is working on the first throw of the double play to the shortstop. Once again, a high volume of balls simulating game situations at their position. You can work short throws for the middle infielders, long throws, and routine ground balls. Our fungo hitter on the first base side is hitting to third base. They throw to first. Our fungo hitter on the third base line is hitting to shortstop, working the first throw of a double play. Please note that they're not throwing to first base on the double play. You can work all types of throws for the double play work. The short throw, a medium throw, and the throw that comes from the hole. This next set of drills, the coach or the fungo hitter on the first base line is hitting a ground ball to the third baseman, who then is throwing to second base, simulating getting the lead runner. The fungo hitter on the third base line is hitting to shortstop, who is then throwing across the infield, making the routine ground out. Once again, I want to emphasize to coaches that may not have the level of talent and they're still developing, you can go ahead and do this drill one ground ball at a time, and you still accomplish a lot during this split infield drill practice. In the next infield drill series, we have the fungo hitter on the first base line is hitting to the shortstop, who is throwing across the infield to first base again. And we have the fungo hitter on the third base line hitting a ground ball to second base, who's throwing across the infield to simulate getting the runner going to third. The next drill, the fungo hitter on the first base line is hitting a ground ball to the shortstop, who is working on a fairly short throw to third base. And the coach on the third base line is hitting a ground ball to the second baseman, working on the throw to first base. The split infield drill here, the fungo hitter on the first base line is hitting to the shortstop, who is working on her feeds to the second baseman at second for the first throw of the double play. Please note that they are not throwing to first base for the double play. The fungo hitter on the third base line is hitting a ground ball to the first baseman, who is throwing across the infield to the third baseman covering third. This infield drill has the coach or fungo hitter on the first base line hitting to the third baseman, who throws to first base, where we have the second baseman covering first base. The fungo hitter on the third base line is hitting a ground ball to the first baseman, who works on her throws to the shortstop covering second base. That's simulating getting the lead runner. in this situation. This split infield drill has the coach on the first base line hitting a ground ball to the third baseman, who is turning and making a short throw to the shortstop covering third base. The fungo hitter on the third base line is hitting a ground ball to the first baseman, who is turning and making a short throw to first base, where the second baseman is covering the base. On this split infield drill, we work the middle infield, focusing on ground balls that are hit to them. This is the one area where they have to concentrate on the ball and making sure that they don't get distracted by the base runner. During this drill, we use other positions to be base runners or the outfielders. You'll notice that the base runners do not have to go all the way to the next base. On the first base line, we have the fungo hitter hitting to shortstop and the runner at second going to third base. The fungo hitter on the third base line is hitting a ground ball to the second baseman, who has to focus on fielding the ball and making a play. There are no throws during this split infield drill. This is a variation of the previous drill, and notice where the base runners are going to try and run in front of the fielder during these fungos that are being hit. This is a infield drill series for split infield, and you'll notice that we have fungo hitters on the first base side. The fungo hitter on the first base side, one is going to be hitting a ground ball to the third baseman. The other one will be hitting a ground ball to the shortstop. At the same time, on the third base side, we have fungo hitters hitting a fungo to the first baseman and a fungo hitter hitting it to the second baseman. This is a large volume of ground balls hit all at once. Once again, I want to emphasize to those coaches that are working with young softball players, this may not be a drill that you would like to try until you get the full execution from your players. You'll notice that you get a lot of ground balls all at once. Also in segment 2, you're going to see the outfielders working on fielding mechanics and throwing accuracy. And as coaches, we know that we can really improve in this area. You're going to notice that our players are working on throwing accurately to one another, and we also put our players on buckets. And what this does is it really emphasizes that thrower to hit their target. There's not much mobility left and right when you're sitting on that bucket. So I encourage coaches to utilize this as a form of throwing accuracy, and it's also kind of fun for your players. This outfield drill is done during split infield drills when the infielders are working out. And you can actually use any of your outfield drills, but we like to use this because it really emphasizes to our outfielders how accurate they're really throwing. Many times when you have a person on the receiving end, they move their feet, and it really, I believe, it gives a false impression on whether the throw is accurate or not. You'll notice when the person's on the bucket or a chair, they cannot move their feet. And that really emphasizes to the outfielders they have to throw strikes to the intended target.